So he's going to be the left tackle, number 66. Obviously, first question for the Jets is okay, left side versus right side. I think people way overplay positional importance for left versus right. Yeah, you'd rather have a better left tackle than right, but it's minuscule in terms of like the difference of how impactful they are. They're both super impactful. So people are like, oh, you can't draft the right tackle at sevens, but you could draft the left tackle. Like it's not that big of a difference for me. But nonetheless, first play is showing off some of his aggression. Really not too much to this one. Just showing the mindset, which is obviously important, right? One of my biggest things in film reviews for offensive linemen and just people in general is toughness need to be a tough SOB to play in the NFL. So you want to see it at the college level at the minimum. So let's watch left tackle. Obviously, play action, and obviously blocks the guy out of bounds. Now, one of the things that he does do, and this is not an example of it, but one of the things he does do is overset guys. Now, this is a tiny bit at first, but he has help to the inside, so it doesn't matter. Initially lands hands on, again, pretty basic in terms of the techniques. We're not really going to get into it. Drives him to the outside. Obviously, it's a rollout, opposite, but gets his hands on. We have a few other blockers here. And the play is done, right? Like at this point, your quarterback is how many yards away from you, 20 yards away from you, whatever it may be. And he could just kind of play patty cake here and the play is done. But instead of doing that, he maintains his contact. We see the right hand latched right there and just drives this dude, keeps extending him, driving him out of bounds. Stuff you like to see. We like to see the aggression from Will Campbell. Offensive linemen who lack that nasty to me, it's not a red flag. I would say it's a yellow one. It's something that I prefer to have with offensive linemen. Have a little bit of that nasty to you. So here we go. Second play, Will Campbell's going to punish the jumper. Something you want to do. People are going to try to deflect the pass from the quarterback. So again, left tackle right here. One thing, this again is not another example of it, but you like to see the inside leg loaded up a little bit more. He's more like a 60-40 split in terms of weight distribution. You almost want it like 85-90 on the post leg. So you can really generate a lot of force off of it. Nonetheless, that's typically when guys are wider, when they're a little bit tighter, not too tight, but a little bit tighter. You don't have to load up because you don't have to explode and get into your kick slide as quickly, right? Because you don't want to overset. But let's watch them. Another thing, yeah, a little bit choppy there. But again, now he's setting to the D end, gets hands on. He does use a hug technique quite a bit, like two-handed punches. Gets both of his hands on. Defender tries to spin. He handles it pretty well. Now the defender jumps up, and you're just going to see him. It's in a lot of traffic right there, so it's kind of hard to see. But what happens is the defender jumps up to try to deflect that ball, and instead of just letting him, you can see how he's in the air right now, number 10. Instead of just letting him land on the ground or land on his feet, you wanna throw him. Let him land on his back, knock the wind out of him, and make him think twice about deflecting a pass. Now let's say the next drive he has an opportunity to maybe jump a pass and deflect it or even intercept it. He may think twice about it. It's like, dude, Will Campbell's gonna absolutely slam me on my back. I'm gonna get the wind knocked out of me, whatever. So, again, sorry that some of the film I got for college was a little bit choppy this year, so it's a little bit choppy there to see it. But obviously, you could see it enough where you know what's going on. Um, Will Campbell right here, the left tackle, getting a little bit high in his stance. We could definitely tell that right off the jump. So I want to get a little bit more knee bend, but we have a combo block right here. And does hell of a job. Now it looks like what it's probably yeah, it's an RPO. Um, so with that being said, Will Campbell is run blocking. Like there's no pass blocking to it. What do we like about it? Three steps, right? I talk about three steps a lot with these combo blocks. You don't really want to commit more than three steps. You start committing more than three steps, you're over committing, and you're not going to be ready for the second level. So I like the fact that you got one, two, three, staying square to the second level. You can see how his hips are open to the second level threat. He's not overcommitting the hips. Now, let's say he does overcommit the hips, and his hips are completely flipped towards the first level. It's obviously going to be harder for him to then turn and get to the second level. So you want your hips open to where your second level threat is. This is what Jim McNally talks about in terms of turning the turret, not the tank. The tank is the lower half. You don't want to turn the entire body into it, just the turret, just the top of the body. Have your hips ready to get to the second level. Gets a good push in there. Obviously creates a ton of movement on the first level right there, probably attacking the center of gravity, the ribs of the hip. Again, plenty of movement. Eyes up the second level threat who gets lateral. He matches them. matches the movement, gets hands on, drives them, and let's say that was a handoff to the running back, he may be gone for a touchdown right now. And why? Because Will Campbell created plenty of space behind him by, again, first level assisting and then getting to the second level. Awesome combo block. Again, I recorded these plays like I could see right now they're on February 2nd, so almost 2 months ago. The one thing I remember about Campbell, and my opinion actually fully formulates after I do these reviews. The one thing about Campbell, though, that I remember really liking is just how consistent he is on combo blocks. So it's something that he's definitely really good at. Campbell's stunt pass off, bad stunt. I believe I remember this play. I think this guy just dives right inside. You kind of want to lag a little bit more and then dive inside. You want to sell it more than just bolting straight inside like that at that angle because it's not really selling anything. Like why would a guy rush like this unless it's a stunt? So gets into his kick slide. Okay, obviously notices it's going to be a stunt. Power steps to the inside. Again, kind of a similar thing on the combo blocks. You don't want to fully commit your hips to the inside like this and carry them. If you do, guess what? It's gonna be harder to turn back out. So you want to keep your hips square to the line of scrimmage. He does that. Lands his hands inside, eyes up, looking for the looper, pushes the picker into the guard, picks up the looper, lands the left hand directly into the neck, the V of the neck, gets good position, and then we can see him close that ground and latch. And what you really want to do once you get contact, I hope you guys can see my screen. You don't want to just like you don't want to just like keep full extension. Obviously, the closer he is to you, the more strength you're going to have. And what you really want to do is quarter turn. So typically you're gonna punch more straight. But what you want to do once you get that contact is really quarter turn. When you quarter turn, you're actually activating the scapula in your back. You want to quarter turn and pull them into you. It's really more about pull and lift than it is about like pushing. Like there's some obviously stuff with offensive linemen that's push, but it's a lot more lift than people think it is. And you want to get your elbows underneath of you and really lift the guy up. And we can see that a little bit right here. It looks like he quarter turned, nice latch, handled the stunt really well. Now, again, obviously not the best executed stunt, but we still want to see the ability to do so. How does he turn his hips? Where are his eyes? Does he power step? Does he drop the post? All this stuff that we'll obviously go through in this review. Campbell fake punch, good rep. Again, pretty high. Again, there's not somebody so wide, so it doesn't matter about the 90-10 split. Again, this is more like 60-40, but he is very high. So is this tackle though. And sometimes I don't know if it was Will Campbell's, maybe somebody else's film. Maybe it's fashion. It was somebody last year. We're like, oh, the guy is standing so high. I'm like, yeah, look at the other tackle though. Like this is just how this college is teaching it for, whatever reason. But one of the things I do like about him too is that he will throw some fake punches, some quarter punches, or some fake punches, some circle punches to kind of figure out a guy or fake him out. And right here, again, doesn't have to get explosive into his kick slot or anything like that. This guy is tight, so you see the fake punch a little bit right here. Loads up, throws a fake punch, and you can kind of see how that makes 45 react. 45 like goes to chop the hands or run his hands to react to the punch. It's not there. He then actually punches, lands his left hand inside, right hand into the shoulder, and snaps right into the anchor. Punch, snap into the anchor pretty much immediately. Alternating feet into the anchor, which is good. We want that. 1, 2. Sometimes you lunge back. It depends on how hard you're getting bull rushed. If you're not getting bull rushed too hard, alternate 1, 2. If you're getting bull rushed hard, and you're just gonna fall on your ass if you try to alternate the feet, then hop. But ideally, if you're not getting bull rushed too hard, you do that. Again, left hand into the chest, right hand into the shoulder to control. Keep him out of the play. Good job. Again, a little bit choppy at the end. Some of the film I got sucked this year. Jump set, punish jump. Okay. Right here, 66 against the D end. Okay, so now we call this a kick jump, or I call this a kick jump. I think that's Jim McNally terminology, but it's just a fake kick set where then you jump him. So jump set's typically just he's here, right off the snap you go to him. But a kick jump is you take 2 steps or a step into your kick slide and then you jump him. It just kind of creates the illusion of, oh, he's gonna get into his kick slide. I have more room. Then obviously you eliminate that room, right off the jump. So we have a kick jump right here, which I like. Right, something that Something that, you want to see a variety of techniques with these guys. You want to see 45-degree sets. You want to see vertical sets. You want to see jump sets. You don't see a ton of kick jumps in college, but I like the fact that we're seeing it from him. Um, Again, coming off the snap, doesn't need to be too explosive. Splits the crotch with his outside foot, which you want. Left hand into the shoulder. You can see how his hand's over top right now. You see how it turns? It's what you want. You don't want to be hand over top. You want it to turn. Now he jumps. What is he going to do? Extend his arms, slam him to the ground. Now, obviously, it cuts off, but you could see that that guy's going to land right on his back. He tries to jump to deflect that ball, punish the jumper. You have to really watch carefully at the end right there to see it. But he slams the hell out of him. You just tell how hard he hits the ground right there. You get shit whipped into the ground, which we like to see, obviously, right? Um, 8 Campbell, good set, punch and lockdown, awesome. Again, with the feet tighter, not a big deal. It's a note, right? Good hand strength. So getting those kick slide, 45-degree set. Even here, now it's a slide to this way, so you can overset a little bit because if he knifes into the B gap, you do have the guard there. It's a slide, so you could overset a little bit. I'll just watch how, ideally we really want that outside foot of Campbell splitting the crotch of the D end. Now, if you have help to the inside, again, you could be a little bit overzealous to the outside, but just general notes. Good punch timing, left hand right into the chest. We like that. Now, there are times where Campbell, and it's kind of dependent on the angle and the relationship to the D end. Sometimes if our hand is into the V of the neck, but he's a little bit more wide, it's very easy to chop that hand down or move past it. Typically, we want this outside hand into like the outer pec and not into the very middle, just because it makes it easier to move to the inside. When it's outside, it's a little bit harder to disengage with that. Nonetheless, obviously we'll take the hand placement right there. Again, now he's in contact. Now he wants to drop his weight. Contact, drop your weight, start working off your insteps. Instep, instep. Again, that's powerful. You don't want to be on your toes. Your toes are, when your legs are straight, your knees bend easier. When your legs are like this, they do not bend as easy. It's biomechanics. Again, now it's all about grip strength. Maintain that contact. Hold them up that again. I don't know why it's so laggy at the end, and there's a fist at the end. At least as long as the pass set's clean, we're good. Campbell patient to second level. Again, 66, left tackle. Again, it's something where he's not racing to the second level. His assignment right now, they're running let's call it tight zone split. And he doesn't know if this defensive end or the D tackle is going to try to get into the B gap, whatever it may be. So he wants to take 2-3 steps inside before just racing to the second level. Now you could see some college guys. Okay, he's a gap away from me. I'm just going to go right to the second level. What happens if this guy sets inside? He backdoors him and gets in that tackle. So I like the patience here. It doesn't really look like anything huge, but I do like the patience of 1, 2, 3. Carry out your assignment on the first level, which is also it looks so small, but like little stuff like that is important just in terms of like scheme knowledge, things like that, like where you gotta be. So looks stupid, but I like that play from him. Okay, 3 steps to the inside, eyes on eyes on the second level threat the entire time or his second level assignment. Patient to it. He's not a guy in the open field who gets overzealous or anything like that. He's very patient, which is good. Gets hands on, left hand into the chest, drive him outside. Now, again, who cares about why this linebacker gets here or whatever, but he did a good job again. 3 steps on the first level. He's supposed to pick up this near backer. He does. His job was executed perfectly. You can't do it better than that. Can't do it better than that. Okay, this is another good one because that's third step hip. So he's going to, I'm assuming, on a combo. I'm assuming on 0, maybe like 3 steps inside, attack the hip, and then get out. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely like the combo blocks from him. That. There's no doubt. 1, 2, 3. Now, in terms of the hips, now his hips are more committed to this. Now, why? If the linebacker's here, let's say his assignment, he's obviously blocking to the middle linebacker. Let's say there was, a linebacker here, and that was his assignment, then I would criticize this. But because his second level threat is inside, he can turn his hips more because they're square to his threat. They don't have to be square to the line of scrimmage. They have to be square to the threat. So take 3 steps. Again, when you take 5, you're overcommitting. Push first shove. We've talked about all that stuff. Um, I'm sure I'll get into it eventually, but 1, 2, 3. Where do you want to attack? The hip. The hip is the center of gravity. If you attack high, shoulders, head, whatever, a lot of guys, if you're strong, can just absorb it, and their core strength and their legs can hold their ground. But when you attack somebody in their waist, they're moving. They're moving. You want to attack the center of gravity. That's the hip. Nice head elbow extension. Eyes into the second level threat. Grab them and stick on the block. Now, eventually he gets off of it, but that's plenty of time. That's plenty good. 1, 2, 3, pop him. Obviously, create plenty of movement on zero, right? Plenty of movement on zero, who's obviously outweighed by quite a bit, but nonetheless, really good combo, good climb. He's an excellent combo blocker. Campbell open early, beat inside. To my remembrance, this is his biggest problem, is the oversetting and opening his hips up early to the outside, by far. And again, 60-40. We just like, and what the hell? What is this stance to? I don't like. I just don't know how. I don't know how. I really want to sit in. Like I think let's say anything ever happened. Like I would definitely like to scout before I coached, and obviously I'm not going to, but I think I'd be better at the scouting part than the coaching part. But how are you watching this on film? Like this stance is okay. I don't understand, but nonetheless, let's watch Campbell as left tackle. So something that happens to him is him oversetting. So again, we really want that foot to split the crotch, and even if it's not, we want to stay square to the line of scrimmage more so because when we overset, we open our hips, our inside is weak, right? So he opens the hips up just a flash too early. It's not even super early, but right here at this point, he's overset. Now, when he starts to cross your face, getting to the outside, that's when we can start to open the hips, but we don't want to open the hips before he gets there. So if he was square right here, like this foot is not so overset. Like the feet are really not that bad in terms of oversetting. The problem is not staying square to the line of scrimmage and opening the hips up. Because when you open the hips up, again, it's to be harder for us to drop our post, a power step, whatever it may be, to get back inside. So a tiny bit of opening early, it's really not even that early, but it's enough at this level to get you beat. Now, the recovery, I like how he's trying to wrench him. Get the right hand into the chest. Drive on well, actually, he's just trying to drive the hip. Really, ideally, if you get your right hand into there, driving the hip, like you can move him. But really, what you want to do is actually get to the hand on the small of the back right here, and one hand push it, both hands push, they straighten out the back. Um, but gets the hand into the hip, tries to drive him, but he lets up the hit on the quarterback. Why? Again, tiny bit of an overset, tiny bit of opening the hips up just a flash too early, lets up a hit on the QB. Another one. Campbell opens slightly early, beat inside. Okay. Left tackle right here. Let's see it. Again, another play, letting up a quarterback hit where um, he is getting just a little, like you could see that like right now he's really not oversetting like in terms of the feet. The problem is the hips are